Yo. So anyway, we're doing a bit of a live stream. We got a little bit of background noise because of music, because of the scenario with the thing that I'm standing next to. Hopefully it's not copywritten sound. LOL. But yeah, we're trying to live stream a little bit from overseas. And yeah, you know, like kind of there's an ambition to do a little bit of this with, you know, trying to bring some elements together from like content making from the past, but like bringing it into the present and the future, which entails like not just chatting, but also like sound making and like comedy a little bit, and also like spiritual finance, which is the most, I think, important after all, like which kind of connects the whole brand. And it's just this like string of energy. But anyway, this is kind of a test stream. In all honesty, we're trying to like increase doing more of these streams. And this is like an initial one because we're trying to be outside a little bit and just put the elements together. We're trying to put the energy together by doing multiple streams throughout the day if possible. And also like, you know, trying to practice on distributing on all the socials. That's kind of what this comes down to, because we're, you know, trying to enter Roku, the internet TV space. And I almost feel like I shouldn't continue. In the past, it's been a trend to talk about ambitions on streams to, you know, try to foreshadow actions, but it's actually the opposite of what I should be doing, because oftentimes it doesn't come through because I don't feel like it. And like, therefore it's a bad game plan. So I'm going to switch that up and just try to do the actions like I'm doing right now, just to stream, which is, you know, something like less than an hour ago I was just trying to do. So now this is the action after all, but it's more about that. And like this theme, which I shouldn't have taken 2 minutes to get to, I'm almost tempted to redo this video as a result of not yet getting to the stream or the theme until 2 minutes in. But again, like the purpose of this is actually to do a lot, like quantity, which is not the first time I've said that, but I'm in JP, which is Tokyo, more specific. So like in essence, you know, using the backdrop as a framework for more conceptual potential content and things is really the ambition behind more quantity in this instance, or this space, I mean. And so this video I hope is irrelevant, because like, you know, just getting titling down, getting distribution to other platforms down is really the ambition. So I almost kind of want to just end this one and start over necessarily. Yeah, you know, the theme about this one is actually related to note-taking, like during filming, which is ironic because it's not ironic, but that's what I'm doing right now, is filming. And like the point being is like something a while ago, a few years ago, I tried to start doing is in essence note-taking and like editing while doing note-taking. And it's like a metaphor for doing the actions while taking actions, which is hard to explain. So maybe I'll do a restream of this, because like trying to do like an NFT per post, which is pretty ambitious, like so that like there's an artwork piece that corresponds chat about, you know, the spiritual, I call this spiritual finance, all these little sermons. I'm like a fake priest in this brand. So we're trying to like just trying to connect a few different elements. Like for example, getting to this place has been an ambition in mind for quite some time. You know, JP as a whole, Tokyo, etc. So yeah, I mean, this is just almost like a practice stream to try to bring these elements together. I've been trying to do a vlog in essence where it's pre-recorded, but this is just straight, you know, it lays it onto the internet, and there's no editing involved and there's none of that. So it just like, it puts more of a foundation for content there, which is like the point of what I'm blathering about. Like after all, is laying this foundation so that there's more familiarity. And also it relates to, we're trying to promote like, you know, clearing, you know, animal shelters and like having awareness for fostering animals, so that there's just more potential to do that for, in other words, people to learn about it and foster animals. So that's like an incentive to boost up the content as a whole. And, you know, really that's what it kind of like comes down to, because like, you know, just every couple seconds, like an animal is, you know, sent away into the universe and put down in shelters because there's just overcrowding and just a disorganization of a process. And that's just in the USA. That's just one country that I know about, but the world as a whole is a greater thing. So like, it's just, you know, about raising awareness, trying to connect some of those dots. It's almost like an initial campaign for Dinky Tech as well. It hasn't really been an official initial campaign. And so like that whole, you know, concept of just like trying to remarket, redistribute, reconnect to like the not just like really the animal world, but people that like animals world, and like just, you know, trying to connect the dots and inherently, almost surreptitiously trying to like, you know, push distribution through that, you know, that cause, if you will, that interest to facilitate that cause and to do, just bring more awareness to the potential for hopefully good to come from animals to be fostered, because it's just like, there's just such, it's like not necessarily known about all the time that animals can be fostered, and it's just like something that can contribute to people's lives if they have a home, they have space anyways. And it's just like, yeah, kind of neat in that respect if there is space for that, if it can just easily accommodate it, because it gets people outdoors and it just like can bring a lot of positive attributes, I would say. So yeah, you know, I almost wonder if I should re-stream though, because like this, it's just not, it's not together like this. I just had a different mindset like this morning, you know, rather push off on like a comedic foot, and also like you know, I'm just thinking about trying to like short link the video and like to do an NFT. It's kind of overwhelming, not overwhelming, but it's a little bit to myself. It takes some of the gusto out of making content to begin with, the distribution aspect in mind, which takes a lot of meditation, I feel like, for sure. It's just like developing the back end, which is actually what this video is all about anyways to begin with, which I might just make a new video regardless, because this is so convoluted with so many different vibes every second, which is not the right vibe and tone that I wanted to do. But what I was talking about is doing notes within, I absolutely have to redo this video, doing notes within within actions. Like it's like editing a video while you're on the set. That's what I'm talking about. Like that's what the theme is for the next video that I'll do in a second, is editing a video while you are basically filming it. That's what I'm saying. Like in essence, you take notes to edit a video, and therefore you are, I mean, while you're filming it, and you're editing it while you're filming it. And that vibe, that mantra is meant to carry over into taking actions in a different way. It's like when you think you want to take an action, you take the notes while you're living life, and therefore the order in which you remembered it actually has this structure similar to editing. Like when you see the editing when you're on a set versus going into a dark room, and then you get switched up mentally and start thinking about things in a different way. And as a result, the editing process, the notes, the foundation, the order for putting the information together drifts away. And that's what this is actually about, is like doing things in life while doing them. It's like editing while doing a video. It's like you're already doing an action, but you're doing a second action within the action to get the back end of it more effectively aligned. So if anybody ever had the time to sit through this kind of this video and listen to what I was saying, that's kind of the bottom end of all this madness that I've just been saying for the last 10 minutes, which is like having the second layer of doing notes in the background causes like the front end and the back end to be done a little bit at the same time. Because oftentimes, like again with video, there's a front end and a back end of like development and then post-production. So that's like a front end and a back end. And you know, doing them all at the same time is just ideal because it's putting the whole product together. It's like having the whole thing kind of try to come together ASAP. Yeah, so really intending to do more pre-recorded vlog stuff, but it just takes time. Like that's all, it's really what it's all about. Like this whole thing comes down to time, because editing, and then like your day is done. If you do a video in a day, it's like then your day's done and you're like, gosh darn it, difficult to manage. It's difficult to manage time if you do content. So, you know, that's really what this comes down to. If you're editing a video while you're on the set, it's kind of a little bit of I think it's like a hack. and also it relates to doing other things in life. Like if you're thinking about things that you have to do, it's good to write them down while you want to do them in the order that you see them mentally when you see them, because then therefore you can maybe actually do them in the order that you want to do them. And it doesn't have to do with editing. It doesn't have to do with making a video. It has to do with life prioritization of things that you might want to do, which relates to doing things now as opposed to doing things later, which is, you know, relevant in terms of things just not happening at all. Because like that whole string of things is like an energy. Like when you think of like 5 things at once, like, okay, this, I need to do this, that, and the next thing. And then they string together, and that's how like your mind kind of connected them to begin with, or thought of them to begin with. So that like order of operations, if you have that string of things and take the notes while you're in the moment of life and you're doing another action in of itself, then you're hopefully able to, you know, facilitate that edit and edit that, you know, element of furthering life, if you will, in terms of, you know, connecting those dots on paper and editing while you're living life, which is like doing something else, and then editing, you know, you're making your edit list for later to enhance your movie, in essence, like calling your life a movie. And, you know, that's like spiritual finance mentality, you know, hashtag spiritual finance, hashtag business music, is all that stuff. So that's the, you know, part of the mental framework for, I guess, business music and spiritual finance, which is like the theme of Dinky Tech stuff, hashtag on almost all the content, in terms of connecting spirituality, business music, and life, and film, and creative elements, content making, brand building, blah, 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 blah. So this is just a little tidbit insert, and, you know, making a little NFT for this, as well as a catchy little title, is also an ambition to do in each content piece. And it's like, again, like it's being made live. I'm recording this live, so obviously it's not like I have to edit this and then think about the title. I'm talking to you about thinking about the title, so I can maybe think about the title at the same time while I'm doing this. So like that's, again, part of the same action and interest of why I'm trying to talk about doing this to begin with, is like layering content, not just layering content, layering things you need to do, layering the edits basically while you're doing other things, so that you can compound your time realistically, which is just, again, I keep making the reference to editing a video while you're filming it, with a piece of paper, and note taking while you're doing the filming, basically. So that's like just, you know, the intention, consolidating time and being more efficient in terms of a process to, you know, not just facilitate making a movie, but making like a life movie, if you will, so that things on the back end can occur in the speed of now as opposed to the speed of later. And it's really just more so about the now, like being able to use the now to facilitate more, you know, back end action, like front end action in the now, back end action in the now. Whereas when you get into an editing room, oftentimes the energy from the present time floats away and you feel different, you feel bogged down. I do when I get into a dark room, versus like being outside, having an atmosphere where it's conducive to more functionality, because your thoughts are flowing, your blood is flowing, and your mindset is just different, especially being in nature. So it's just super ideal. Like it's just kind of meta to make this content, talk about editing in notes and then making the notes verbally for other things like that I'm making reference to while I'm, you know, making the video in of itself, talking about doing edits for a video while you're making a video while I'm making a video, type of a thing. I don't know if that all made sense. A lot of this brand content making stuff right now in of itself is an aspect of like pulling different content out and just putting it out there, even though I've been doing that in the past, but in a more organized fashion so that it correlates more specifically to the brand, and also with more urgency because of the shelter dog awareness bringing attempt, on a more ongoing basis. And as a result, it's just more so, you know, again, trying to consolidate and like do more of what the energy that comes in the now and bringing that into like live streams and or content making. And so it's almost like an initial sort of content, you know, intro by chatting about this to begin with, because it's like it's like a little editing technique that I think I've thought of like many years ago, but haven't implemented it a whole bunch because content as a whole takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, and I haven't sacrificed that time. I have been putting it into other things for the most part, just back-end organization and structure, which is really irritating because content has always been a priority, and it is a priority for making a brand also. But if you're driving awareness, you have to have like a destination for that awareness to go to for people. So that's what I've been trying to build, is the back-end, place for people to go to and land on, and the brand for people to land on. And there's still endless, like there's so much work to be done, which is all like, it just relates to making content that relates to not just the animal shelter industry, like the animal industry, if you will, like the animal, the interest to help animal industry, but it's like the interest to connect with just greater networks that have shared interests, to be able to align with energy and try to not just compound energy, but compound interests with other people, so that it's more so how the networking, the marketing, and sort of networking of content in of itself is intending to happen. It's not just about putting out a piece of content and having people watch it for entertainment, but people that have shared interests trying to watch it because they have a fundamental interest in the nature of the existence of actions that I'm taking, and as a brand as a whole, like to be able to try to be supportive of that whole organization's interests, and share in those actions, share in the community element of shared communal, shared interests, for lack of better words. So that might be a good place to wrap it up. This is all like listening to myself talk for 17 minutes, and it's just like the way that it would look on the other end is not very clean and clear and smooth in terms of an experience to receive this one for right now. So we'll try to get back to this and develop another stream with better, thumbnails and titles and whatever it's called in the future, meaning the description, video content descriptions and such things. It says my transmission's unstable, so I'm gonna have to go. We're gonna end this now. Hopefully we've got some content, and we'll just wrap it up and try to get back to you later with some music that we made before, and post that a little bit later also. Maybe make some music live or whatever. We'll see how it goes. All right, thanks again, Diggy Tech. Peace.